That's the one I was talking about. Yeah, do you want me to resend it to you or would you want me to resend it to you? Oh, I see you got your own. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Fowler Show here live on youtube.com/Edward Fowler. We are now at 153 subscribers. We've not been live for 2 months. I have been working on getting guests on the show, and that's what I've been doing for the past 2 months, and it paid off literally last night, how you want to call it, because I reached out to ProSouth Management when I saw the announcement on, I believe, I could be wrong, about Sunday or Monday. It was earlier this week. And I saw the announcement of a legendary commentator/announcer who has worked for WCW and Total Non-Stop Action, TNA, better known by Impact Wrestling, who's going to be at ProSouth this Friday, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock in the evening, 7:30 p.m. Central Time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com, where that stream will be going live. It's ProSouth's biggest show, I have to say, of the year. It's an anniversary show, and what an anniversary show they've got, and what an anniversary guest they have in my next guest, who is here live, waiting patiently. And I'm going to bring him on the air in just a moment here. So please welcome to the show, Scott Hudson. Welcome to my show. I'm going to turn that off at the moment. How are you doing?
to be on your show. Really am.
So are we as well. By the way, at the moment, we can see you. I think yes, we can. We can hear you. Anyway, that's the main thing here on the show, and that's what counts, I guess. So, what got you to say yes and to come to Pro South Wrestling this weekend, this Friday night?
Well, this is not my first time with Pro South. I think this is my fourth anniversary show. We skipped last year, obviously, because of the pandemic. But I think this would be 4 out of the last 5 years and 4 out of the last 4 shows that I've been fortunate enough to be over in Piedmont, Alabama for Pro South Wrestling. And it's my honor to be there. They do a fantastic job. They've got an outstanding setup over there in Piedmont. A small town in eastern Alabama puts on some of the best independent wrestling in the entirety of the Southeast. The storytelling, the work is incredible. The announcing, I hope that I'm good enough to make it to keep up. The announcing is great. The managers that they use, again, the booking, it's just a fantastic, fun place to be. The crowd loves it. They have developed an insane amount of talent in the troupe of the guys that they have there in Pro South, and it's always fun. It is definitely worth a trip to Piedmont, Alabama, very much so. I'm honored to be there.
Yes, and I just figured out, because this is the first time I've done a Zoom video on this show, usually via Skype, but we did things differently. I just worked out how I just get your video and not the actual, the whole Zoom square box. So I just figured that out because we had some technical issues with your video there for a second, but I sorted it out and you can now officially see him on your screen. So I'm not lying, and he is, and that is his voice, and you can hear it, and now you can hear and see him here live tonight. So you've got a good haircut, as you mentioned to me earlier today. I even went out to get a haircut just for this show, so I really appreciate that. Nobody has gone to that stretch to get a haircut.
A couple of hours at the salon this morning. They did a fantastic job.
Well, that's great.
It was all the way. I passed my shoulders when I went in this morning.
Really? Wow.
No, that's not true.
But I mean, Pro South, we've spoke with them over the weekend to get you on the show, and they see very cool people, very friendly people, and I'm hoping that you and everyone who tunes in this Friday night will have a blast. And if you can't make it, don't worry, because they're going to be live streaming it on their official YouTube channel, which I will post in the live chat in just a moment, by the way. I do have the link for that, which is passed to me as well. And, as this show is very well known, I am always up for the challenge of trying to be prepared, but sometimes that's not the case. So that is the live link I've just posted there. So you can click onto that and set a reminder, subscribe to them, like the video as well. Make sure you give them plenty of likes and share it around to all your friends. Tell them that Pro South Wrestling is the best in the world behind Manchester, UK, because that, ladies and gentlemen, is the home of Manchester United, the greatest team of all time, and there's no questions about that. Now, what is your position then tomorrow night? Because I know I understand you'll be co-commentating with Noah on the show. So will you be giving him tips and ways he can improve on his commentary tomorrow night?
Oh no, it's going to be the other way. When I get there, the first thing I'm going to do is hook up with Noah to make sure that I'm up to speed on the champions and what got us to the Super Show tomorrow night. What's happened? What kind of chicanery and shenanigans have gone on over the last couple of months to make sure I'm up to date. So I'm going to rely on Noah to make me at least in the same realm of an announcer as he is. He's outstanding.
So are you.
I'm lucky to be working with him too. You talked about the streaming though of Pro South. It will be on YouTube, and Pro South actually has a YouTube champion.
Yeah. Can you believe that?
They have the YouTube champion is Damian Saratone there in Pro South, and I've worked with Damian Seratone, I think every show that I've been with Pro South. He is an incredible athlete and a lot of fun to see in person. And the fact that he's YouTube champion now, he's going to be taking on Charlie Bravo tomorrow night at the Super Show, defending that YouTube championship. Charlie Bravo's been on a roll for Pro South, but Damian Seratone is so good. He's done it all. He's a Grand Slam champion. He's had the All Out title. He's had the Pro South title. He's been a tag team champion. So Damian is now the YouTube champion. So he's the Grand Slam of Pro South. That's going to be an incredible match. Charlie Bravo is a young and up and comer, crazy high flying guy, but what Damian's been doing is incredible. Charlie's going to have to bring his A game against Damian Seratone tomorrow night. But Damian is the YouTube champion, so he's going to be putting that title on the line tomorrow night at Pro South.
Now, question for you. We'll get to our predictions of who we think will win each match. That's why you saw maybe a little Facebook teaser of the Facebook page of Pro South before. We'll share that again in a few minutes. But I got a question for you. You're saying it's a YouTube champion, okay? There's a championship for YouTube. So that means basically anybody on YouTube could come to Pro South and could face the champion. So that means you, Scott Hudson, you could decide if you wanted to in the future face the YouTube champion, because you're on YouTube right now with myself. I could come to Pro South Wrestling maybe one day, and maybe I want to get in the ring with the YouTube champion.
There you go.
That's not
plenty in the bag right
by
there.
the way.
Yeah, that's let me give you some hand signals, Edward. If you're ready for this.
Yeah.
5, 7.
Okay.
That's how old I am.
Yes.
I am not getting in the ring with Damian Seratone. I'm not getting in the ring with Damian Seratone's grandmother. That's not going to happen. So I will forfeit my spot in the YouTube championship match with Damian Seratone to you. You get in there.
Right, okay. Well, I'll give you... Well, you can't see my numbers. You can't see my hands, unfortunately. But I will tell you this, okay? So 20 years ago, when WCW closed down, I was only 1 year old at the time when it closed down. Later that year, I turned 2. You can now know how old I am. So I'm probably the right person, the right choice, probably.
There you go. That means you're the same age as my daughter.
Ah, there we go.
Which is ridiculous, but that's great.
It's good. It's good. But there you go. We do have as well a subscriber. Speaking of your co-commentator, Noah has subscribed to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much for that subscribe there. Best luck to him tomorrow night with yourself regarding that. But we get back to that in just a moment. But yeah, so he's going to be a lucky chap working with one of the best in the business. From WCW working with Mike Tenay and Tony Schiavone and Bobby the Brain Heenan to then doing bizarre things in TNA with interviews and announcing on Total Non-Stop Action with, of course, the owner of course, Jeff Jarrett at the time as well. But it was fun working with him. Have you got any special catchphrases we will hear from you tomorrow night? That's a great question. I never got into that. I know that a lot of announcers do, and that's fine. But I was always of the opinion, with all due respect to everybody that has ever been an announcer in professional wrestling, I didn't want to do anything that called attention to me. Right.
My goal was to call attention to the men and women in the ring, and to sell, Skittles or whatever that were sponsoring the replay of the week. That's what I didn't want to make myself the center of attention. And sometimes having, catchphrases unless you're somebody like Bobby or Larry Zbyszko or Jesse Ventura, that was a character in the ring to begin with. They're going to call attention to themselves, and they should. They're the character. We are just there. We're the salesman. We're supposed to make you care about what's in the ring, and to make you buy the pay-per-view back in the day.
Yeah.
And to make you buy Skittles and whatever else. because they sponsored the replay of the week. That's how I saw my role. So no, I'm not going to break out any catchphrases. I'd have to come up with some because I don't think I ever had any. I didn't mean to.
That's true. That's fair then. That's fun to ask you because trying to get the tease of the audience because the audience is going to be listening to you and Noah throughout the show. I don't know how long the show is going to be. Maybe 2 or 3 hours. Maybe I'm just guessing. But you have to tune in at 7:30 Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, and guess the time will be here in the UK. Guess what time that will be? 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that's about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so I'll be waking up very early in the morning on Saturday morning. At 1:30 in the morning to see what's going to happen at Pro South Wrestling, and
but at least it's a Saturday though. It's not like you're gonna like a school night,
Yeah, I get you. Well, I was up quite late over the past 2 nights, speaking with various people from Pro South and yourself as well. So luckily. Last night, got a great night's sleep. I needed it. I was tired for the past 2 nights before that, waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning. But I'm all ready to go for Friday night. And speaking about Pro South as well, because, if you can't get enough of them on YouTube, then check out their social media. We got the Facebook page on your screen right there. We are now going to show you, predict some matches for you here with our great colleague, because he'll know more about all this than I do. Here this evening. So as you can see, thanks to ProSouth for sharing this very video here, and I'm just going to go down here. As you can see, it's a free plug to ProSouth. So we're going to show you this. This was announced last night. We have an open challenge by the champion. Not champion. It does open challenge. I thought we had a championship there, but no, it's Tyler Sutton. He's going to be. He's going to be issuing an open challenge tomorrow night. Who could that be? Is it you? As you always said, you never know. You're never too old. You're never too old to get in the ring, Scott.
Yes, I am. I am too old. But Tyler Sutton issued that open challenge, and it goes without saying he's the greatest person alive. That's who the person that is going to answer the challenge. That's all we know. It could be anybody, and quite frankly. I think Tyler Sutton, may have written a check his rear end can't cash because you never know who's going to show up. There are a lot of folks that are not on the Super Show tomorrow night that could come back to Pro South, that may be making their debut in Pro South after headlining other promotions somewhere in the Southeast. Mm-hmm. I don't know that Tyler Sutton thought this through, to be honest with you. He threw out an open challenge and said that he's going to defeat whoever the person that answers the challenge is, and that person would be the greatest person alive if they could do that. I just love that confidence from Tyler Sutton. But, confidence is one thing, but confidence doesn't mean an awful lot when you're, laying in the ring unconscious, counting the ring lights. So we'll see what happens to Tyler, but it's an open challenge. Tomorrow night, that's one of those you never know what's going to happen. I do not know. That's a straight up shoot. I have no idea who it's going to be. That's the best way to approach this as an announcer is what they always tell you is to call what you see. I don't know if the Pro South people come up and say, hey, look, Tyler's challenge, here's who it's going to be. I'm like, don't tell me. I don't want to know. Just I'll know who it is when they walk through the curtain like everybody else. So we'll figure that out tomorrow night. That's the great unknown.
Yeah.
And Tyler, I hope he knows what he's getting into.
Well, maybe
I do. I don't think he does, but I hope he does.
Maybe Tyler has handpicked his opponent. Maybe that's why he's so confident. Maybe I'm just guessing, but
any man, any woman in Georgia or Alabama or Eastern Tennessee could come down to Piedmont tomorrow night. You never know who it's going to be.
Could be a fan. Who knows? You have to find out tomorrow night on the YouTube live chat to find out who will win. Are you willing to say that he's going to win then, or do you think he may get beat, depending who it will be? Because I think I'm gonna go with what we can see. I'm gonna say that Tyler will win against whoever it will be. I could be wrong because we can't see who he's going to face because it's an open challenge. But I'm just going to go with the fact that we know one competitor, so I'm going to go with him since he's so confident.
Now, that's a good point. That he's on a winning streak
Mm.
in Pro South, and it could extend to whoever shows up. It could be me, in which case he will win by forfeit because I'm not getting out of the booth, or it could be, I mean, name somebody, name anybody that's ever been in Pro South, name anybody on the independent circuit in Georgia, Alabama, or Eastern Tennessee that could come down. That, we'd be here for another 2 hours just naming people.
I know,
that it could be. I don't know. I'm not prepared to say that Tyler's confidence is going to carry the day tomorrow night, depending on who it is. If it's me, it's over before it starts. If it's pretty much anybody else, it's going to be a really good match. It's worth showing up. It's worth subscribing and liking and clicking that notification button for Pro South on YouTube.
And the link as well is posted in the live chat as well in this video. So if you do want to check it out tomorrow night, you can do so. It's right there. And you click remind me, and it reminds you when they go live tomorrow night. I think they go live on YouTube around 7:05 p.m. Central Time, but the actual show does not begin to 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Unlike this show, we do not have like an intermission. This is a commercial-free show here on YouTube.com. Because I love commercial-free, so that's how we do things here. But I know ProSouth have things to do in the intermission. Sometimes they're building a cage. Sometimes I don't know what else they do during intermission because we don't see it. Maybe one day they might give us a behind the scenes of what they do behind the scenes of Pro South during the intermission. That'd be a cool idea. Just throwing that out there. But anyway, moving on from that open challenge, we're going to go down to another match which was announced yesterday as well. We're going to go in the order we need to post to make things easier. So we have Roma Miller. He's in action tomorrow night, and he's had a lot of run-ins against Tony Midas, I think that's how you pronounce it, and Brother Izor. Again, mispronunciation there maybe, but
you're all over him. It's Tony Midas and Brother Azrael, and they've been driving Roma Miller nuts over the last few months. Roma's been jumped outside the ring, double teamed in the ring, jumped in the dressing room, jumped outside the building. And so tomorrow night it's Roma and Brother Azrael. Finally, Roma's going to get his one-on-one with Azrael tomorrow night. So my gut feeling is that Tony Midas shows up and gets involved again. I hope not, because I think Roma Miller has earned his shot one-on-one, unobstructed, uninterrupted, no interference with Azrael, and I hope tomorrow night he gets it. Because I think in that scenario, Roma Miller clearly wins the match. If it's one-on-one, no interference, no chicanery, Roma wins it.
I agree with you there. Again, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow night. I'm not being told anything's going to happen. I do because, again, I don't want to know. Again, I have no, anything to do with Pro South's booking committee or anything like that. So just like you, Scott, I know absolutely nothing. So these predictions could be all correct, or I could get some correct and some wrong. And the same with Scott, he could get them all right, he could get them all wrong. Who knows? But it's our predictions. You can let us know your predictions in the comments section below, or even on the live chat. But I do agree with you there. I do think that if it's a clean match, if we do not see Tony anywhere, then yes, I think Roma has a good chance at winning the match tomorrow night. But I just got a feeling that Tony will somehow get involved. I don't know where or how. I just got a funny feeling that he's going to show up tomorrow night.
Yeah, I agree. Past his prologue, and if history is any indicator, we'll see a double team. We'll see, he'll be under the ring and, beat him up under the ring outside of the referee's view or something. Something will happen. Yeah. Maybe they won't do that because I just said it out loud, but something's gonna go down.
Well, you never know. Anyway, but so again, as well, we do have another thing that's match announced. A lot of matches is going to be. So hope you up for a great night of action tomorrow night here at Pro South Wrestling in Alabama, the second best place to be. Beside Manchester, UK, of course. We've got, of course, Aaron.
I'll say it's the second best, just other than Georgia. Georgia number 1, Alabama number 2. Just like in the college football. right.
Oh yes, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's right. Of course, we do get college football over here in the UK as well on ESPN.
I shouldn't have said that. I'm going to hear about that tomorrow night.
I hope so. I hope so. I
Because
hope.
Alabama won.
Yeah, they did. They did. But somehow, I do like the Bulldogs. They're quite a good team, aren't they?
Very good. Very good team.
So I'm super happy about them winning, but I'm hoping that the Alabama fan base will give you some boos, and maybe even the YouTube live chat might give you some boos as well. I hope so.
It may. That may happen. It may very well happen.
But moving on from that subject to more back to Pro South Wrestling. That's what Wrestlers of the Night. Aaron Dallas got a singles match against Marcus Urkins, so however you pronounce the second name. He's facing him. You can see it on your screen. Prediction, Scott.
This one has been a fantastic series of matches. These two have been going at it for a couple of months. Aaron Dallas and Marcus Erics. It reminds me, and this goes back to, gosh, when your folks were kids, that Magnum TA, Terry Allen and Nikita Koloff did a best of 7 series for the United States Championship back in Jim Crockett Promotions back in 1986.
Before my time.
Yes, it was. I was young back then. So, but this kind of reminds me that they're not fighting over a title, but the matches have been going back and forth. 1 week, Aaron wins it. 1 week, Marcus wins it, and it's just been fantastic wrestling to watch, and it's finally going to come to a head. And we'll see exactly who the best man is. This is the big stage. It's Super Show 13. It's the anniversary show of Pro South. This is when you get all gussied up, as we say in South Georgia. This is when you have to put on your best performance and be at your best A game. And tomorrow night, Aaron and Marcus are going to tie it up. And I think this will probably be the end of their series of matches. They'll both go on to other things. That's a guess, but I think whoever wins this is going to have bragging rights in Pro South. And as much as it's like 50.1 to 49.9, I got to go with Marcus Erics. I think Marcus is going to pull it out tomorrow night.
So you're going to go with Mark Erics there. Okay, interesting. I do like your points. I do think whoever will win will have bragging rights and then move on. I do believe that will happen, but I'm gonna have to.
Now neither. I got to say this: neither man will take a step down. They've both elevated their game and their reputation in the business, and certainly in Pro South with the series of matches they've had. So even though I'm on the record now with saying that I'm going with Marcus by 1/10 of a point. Both men are going to come out stronger and go on to much bigger and better things in Pro South and in the business totally.
Yeah, I believe it. But I have to say, though, you're going with Marcus. I'm going to have to disagree with you on this one, unfortunately. We've been agreeing so far, but on this one, we're going to have to disagree a little bit. I do apologize. I'm going to go with Aaron Dallas. I don't know. It's just something about him. He's just got some fitness. I think he's going to... I don't know. He just got something more than what Marcus is offering at the moment, and I just think he's going to get the win over him, and he's going to go to places probably where he's never been before, higher places.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
It's so close for me. I can't disagree with your call. I understand.
Well, thank you very much for understanding, and just a recap as well of the champion of Pro South Wrestling. So we've got, of course, the Tyler Corporate, or people, compare him to Penguin. Do you think he looks like a bit like Penguin, the way he dresses, the way he acts in the ring?
Oh, sure. No question about it. He looks more like Oswald Cobblepot from the Gotham TV series.
Yeah.
Than he does the classic Penguin from the movies or something. But he's a character, and that's where I think Tyler excels in the business, is that he can play those mind games, because again, look at me. I'm not going to sell any lunch boxes, but he's an odd looking guy that when he comes in, he's such a character that he throws you off your step and you don't know what to expect from him. when he steps into the ring. But he is the Pro-South champion.
He is, yeah.
And he's held that title for a while. And this thing with Ace Haven that he's going to be facing tomorrow night,
which we'll get to as well in a few minutes. They did cut you off.
I don't. Okay, then I will wait on your cost then. But
no worries.
That's the one that I can't wait for that.
I know I can't wait for that match, and I will tell you why. And I will compare it to some legendary icons who you mentioned, like you did earlier on, how you mentioned about Magnum TA, and I will tell you why I think these two remind me of these two other particular people in a few minutes. I was just showcasing. Of course, you can't see what I'm going to say and whatnot, so I do apologize for that. But I was going to say he is the current, the Pro-South Wrestling Heavyweight Champion or Champion, we're going to call him. He's held it, I believe, I could be wrong, over 400 and odd days. I think he's held it for now. I think he's got to be
for a long time.
He's got to be the longest champion in history for Pro-South, I guess, maybe.
Have to be. I did not do that research. I can't. You stumped the band on that one, but if he's not, he's in the discussion.
Yeah, and I do hope he's a champion for many more years to come, because there's nobody else really who can, who at the moment can be the face of the company. I can't think of anybody else who could be the face of the company. Maybe apart from Ace, maybe, but it's just those two. There's nobody else really who could be the face of the company, really. But we'll get back to him in a few minutes, and then you can say what you're going to say about that match. Sorry for cutting you off, but we're going to move on to this matchup here, the League of Trebles. I think that's how you say it. It's a tag team, a trios tag team, as I call it over here. So we've got the Southern Strong Style against Jax and I don't know how you pronounce the second name of the tag team. Do you know what match I'm talking about?
Yes, I do, and that's Jackson. The Jizzism is that's the third team, Southern Strong Style, Jay and Proc, and then the League of Terribles, Cameron and Dead Crow. That's going to be nuts, because it was just last Friday night at Pro South that the League of Terribles won the title from Southern Strong Style. Southern Strong Style had been champion for, you talk about how long Tyler's been Pro South champion. They had been champion for probably as long.
Yeah.
A long run with the titles, and out of nowhere, the League of Terribles won it last Friday night. And that's going to be violent. It's going to be one of those matches that it's not like going to be a hardcore match where you got barbed wire wrapped snakes and stuff. That's not that. It's just going to be, every body blow, every chop, every punch you're going to be able to hear echoing through the building there in Piedmont with these three teams. And I don't, with all due respect to the League of Terribles and especially Cameron, I love Cameron's work. And Jax, all six men in this match are incredible, but Southern Strong Style is pissed because they lost the titles and broke up that long run as champions last week. They are going to come in, and I think this one is going to be a good match, a long match, but at the end of the night, I think Southern Strong Style will regain the Pro South Tag Team titles.
Interesting. Well, I do agree with some of the points you said. Yes, they have been champions for a very long time, and I was like you, probably most people in the live YouTube chat room last Friday night, shocked when they lost the title, because I thought they're going to be champions for at least until the new year, maybe even after that. But I was very shocked when that reign came crashing down. And one thing I do like about Pro South Wrestling compared to other companies is that there isn't many titles for like trios tag teams, is there really? So I like what they've done there as well for trios in Pro South, making them different from every other company, making it instead of being organic or generic, they've gone a bit differently. So I do like that as well about Pro South. But I do disagree with you. I think Jax and their tag team partner will retain the tag team championships tomorrow night.
I understood, and I think no matter the outcome, this is going to be an historic triangle tag team match, because either Southern Strong Style regains, either the League of Terribles, who won it out of the middle of nowhere, legitimizes themselves and proves they weren't a fluke a week ago and retains, or out of nowhere, Jackson Edgeism come in and do what nobody thinks is possible and comes out of the Super Show with the tag title. So it's going to be historic no matter what happens.
Yeah, I agree there with you. And again, we can't wait to see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't go on too long, though, because I would like to see the main event of the show, obviously. So hopefully it doesn't go on too long. Because sometimes, some things go on for way too long than they should, to my opinion. But, I'm not talking about ProSouth, I'm talking about in general. Don't get people angry at me by saying things out of context. So the next contest we do have here is we have Eric Silva against Chris Crunk. Good matchup, and I believe it is for the All Out Championship.
It is. It's the All Out Championship. Chris Crunk, a two-time All Out champion. Eric Silva has been champion for a little bit here. And coming in defending the title, Eric is this one's going to be a toss-up. And Chris Crunk has proven that he can be all-out champion, can hold the title for a while, can beat pretty much anybody in ProSouth if he's got his mind right and has done his homework. Has to, not the biggest guy in the world, but if he does the research and puts together a game plan, can stand with anyone in the company and can beat anybody in the company. And Eric Silva knows that. Eric Silva is going to come in as the champion. And I think that tomorrow night, Eric Silva will leave the building as champion, but he will know he's been in a fight, and Chris Crunk will be back and probably get another shot at the All Out Championship, whether Eric's the champion or not. And I think that at some point, Chris will become a three-time All Out champion, but tomorrow night, I think Eric retains. Eric Silva is my pick.
Good choice, as the great Lee Corso would say on college football, on college game day.
Not so fast.
Yeah, well, I will get to that if I need to. If you say something I don't like, if I don't disagree with you on, but yeah. Everything you said is correct. I agree. I completely agree with you 100%. I do agree that it's going to be a back and forth fight. I do think it's going to be like a brawl, maybe a fight as well. Chris is not going to go down without a fight, but I do believe Mr. Silva will walk out as still the all-out champion after tomorrow night. I do agree with you there. Yeah. Moving on, and of course, ProSouth, of course, lost a great legend earlier this week in Jimmy Wave. If you heard about that news, of course, he was wrestling. You may know him from TNA, I guess, as well. You might have worked him in TNA before you left or something, maybe.
Yeah, I worked with him a little bit in TNA, but I knew him mostly from NWA Wildside.
Yeah.
When WCW went under, and toward the end there, when they were up and running, my best friend in the world, other than my wife, is Steve Prazak, and Steve was the color commentator with Dan Wilson on the broadcast team there in Wildside. So I would go up and watch those Wildside shows, and every now and then, if Dan couldn't be there, I would stand in and work with Steve on the commentary for Wildside, and I got to see Jimmy Rave there, along with Cool Seth DeLay and Mike Posey and AJ Styles and Azrael, and not the Azrael from ProSouth, but Murder One and Homicide. Just a fantastic group of guys 20 years ago.
Wow.
And Jimmy Rave stood out then.
Yeah.
He was an amazing athlete, only been in the business a couple of years. And he was a good guy, a fantastic talent, a wonderful athlete, and just a tragic end to a very promising life. And our thoughts go out to Jimmy's daughter and to his family, and he will be missed.
And of course, as well, the Fowler show as a whole also send our prayers and thoughts out to his family and to all his fans and all the friends who, of course, knew Jimmy. Of course, were very shocked when I saw the news on early in the week as well. I know I forgot to mention to you as well, Scott, that I've had the privilege of having Shark Boy on this very show, and I saw his tribute on Twitter earlier this week as well. That's when I saw the news, and then I saw it from ProSouth as well. So yeah, very shocking and sad news earlier this week.
Yeah, very sad.
But we do have thank you. Jessica Arnold has got in touch on YouTube Live saying OMG, Scott Hudson with a love emoji. Like a smiley. It's like a face with love hearts from the eyes.
Awesome.
Indeed.
Awesome.
There you go. At least someone likes you this evening. I don't know. Jessica saw your comment early on about Georgia, but you can always rewind that section to hear what he said about Georgia.
Yeah, well, I knew I was going to hear about that. We'll just edit that out in post.
Anyway, the next match is going to be having at ProSouth this coming Friday, tomorrow night in ProSouth, and the link is in the live chat, and I will also paste it in the description below as well after this video is off the air. We've also got another singles match. I believe this is for the YouTube Championship. I think we discussed this earlier on in the show. It's Damien in action against Carly Bravo, if I pronounce that name. I think you said earlier that you think that Damien will win the match, but I could be completely wrong.
I do.
But there you go.
No, I do. I make no bones about this. Damien Seratone, and with all due respect, and everybody else may be tied for second, but Damien Seratone is my favorite performer in ProSouth. He is an incredible athlete, and the stuff he does in the ring just always blows me away when I'm lucky enough to be there in Piedmont or to watch it on YouTube. He's just a really impressive guy, and he's a Grand Slam champion. That's pretty impressive to begin with. But tomorrow night, he's stepping in there against Charlie Bravo. Charlie Bravo's an up-and-comer, to coin a phrase. At some point, Charlie Bravo might actually be a Grand Slam champion in ProSouth. But tomorrow night, I think Charlie Bravo will bring the fight to Damien Seratone. But I think Damien Seratone just is too good and too strong and too talented. And as much as I appreciate and respect Charlie Bravo, I think Damien comes out on top tomorrow night.
Good pick, but not so fast. There we go. Got it in there. Got you there. Been there all night. Been there for the last 40 minutes to say that to you. But yeah, we could see him retain. I don't think he will. I think we'll crown a new YouTube champion tomorrow night. Short and simple.
Wow.
And I think he'll do it under 5 minutes.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
That's my prediction.
But they putting a rocket ship under Charlie Bravo.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
There are worse things to do. That wouldn't shock me. He's really good.
Exactly.
Really good.
That's why I said because I think he could take out Damien within 5 minutes. So that's my prediction. Could be a spoiler. It might not be a spoiler. It might not even happen. Might not even happen at all. Who knows what may happen? But this is the match which you were talking about before I cut you off. It is, of course, the match I am looking forward to. I think everybody on the fans, the superstars, the wrestlers, we call them, are all looking forward to tomorrow night. It's the match of the night, I believe. It's for, of course, the ProSouth Championship. Of course, just to give some context, Tyler is defending his championship against Ace Haven, who won the Battle Royale, or Battle Rumble, does say. But before that, though, Scott, a few weeks ago, at Black Friday, which is a traditional Cyber Week, isn't it, in America, which is also in the UK now, all thanks to our great friends in America. They had a steel cage match. It was, I think it was called Team ProSouth against another team and Tyler's team. And during this match, of course, the other team got eliminated because it had Austin Towers on the other team, and he got eliminated first. His team got eliminated first, and he went ballistic. So it was between Ace Haven's team and Tyler's team, and it went and it was a massive brawl. It went all over the ringside. Even at one point when Tyler thought he had the victory, he was very angry and tossed the referee into the cage. But in the end, Tyler's team lost the fight, lost the match. But looks like Ace Haven, came back for some more for Tyler. But this time on one-on-one. No teammates, nobody else to try and to steal any spotlights. They'll do it one by one. But I believe Ace Haven will be joined by his wife, I think, Amy Haven. So that should be interesting to see if she gets involved, if necessary. If Tyler's decided to bring something up his sleeve. Who do you think? And please carry on what you were saying before, because I know I cut you off and I didn't mean to do that.
That is okay. But this is just this is nuts. What's happened with these two athletes? It's involved their kids.
Yeah.
Plastic bags.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know
what's happened with this. But Tyler's been champion for pushing a year, uninterrupted for this run. And Ace is a former ProSouth champion. He's had an incredible career in ProSouth and is a former champion. But it's been over 2 years, I think. It's been, you always kind of measure things by the pandemic. Mm-hmm. It's been long before the pandemic that Ace was ProSouth champion. Not that there's a cause and effect relationship there, but Ace hasn't worn that gold big blue as it is in a long time. And so tomorrow night, it's obviously not going to be Ace's last chance, but it may be. So tomorrow night, Tyler's going to come in. He's always supremely confident. We talked earlier about Tyler Sutton being confident and making that open challenge, but he hasn't backed it up yet. Tyler's confident. Tyler Culprit is confident and has backed it up a lot. And what Ace is going to have to do is fight not only the man across the ring, he's going to have to fight himself inside his own head, because Tyler Culprit can get inside there and wreak havoc without ever laying a hand on you. And so tomorrow night, you talked about Amy Haven possibly getting involved in this. Tyler Culprit's not above, we'll talk about bringing barbed wire flaming snakes into the ring. Who knows what he'll do? Anything is possible. And as much as I love and respect Ace Haven, I gotta think that, no, I'm kidding you. I think Ace Haven becomes ProSouth champion tomorrow night. I think he regains, and we head into the holidays with Ace Haven as ProSouth champion.
Wow, you did throw it for a second. I was thinking before we came onto this question that you will choose Ace Haven, and then you were going towards Tyler, and then you tricked us. You tricked not just me, but I think the viewers as well. So good pick. A little
Vince Russo swerve.
Yeah, exactly. Good swerve, but not so fast. Not so fast.
Oh, there you go again.
I was hoping I could say that, but I was thinking, I'm glad to agree with him there for a second, but no, I'm glad you did not go with Tyler. I do believe Tyler will retain the championship. There's no question about that. He is probably the longest champion in history, maybe, but he's been the most dominant. I don't think there's been a ProSouth champion who's been so dominant and who's represented the brand on and off screen, I don't think, for the past year. And I think he is probably the best wrestler to represent ProSouth, to be the base of the company for so long, to carry the company on his back for so long. He is just, a guy who is, I don't think, going to be unstoppable tomorrow night. I think he is going to do everything in his power with all the tricks, with all the, peculiar things he's going to do in that match tomorrow night, because again, his idol, his player is Penguin. So whatever Penguin did to try, get the upper hand against Batman and whoever else, I think Tyler is going to do that same thing with Ace tomorrow night. And as you mentioned before as well about, you mentioned in Wildside, you mentioned Mike Posey, who is, of course, an interesting referee back then. I'm just hoping that whoever referees that match tomorrow night doesn't get on the bad side of Tyler, because we saw what happened to a referee a few weeks ago in the steel cage, where Tyler decided to throw a ref into the cage because he wasn't very happy with the count. So Hopefully, whoever gets to referee that match, hopefully, if it is the same referee again, that he doesn't get on his bad side, because I do not want to know what's going to happen to that guy if he gets on the wrong side of him. But again, as well, he's got a weapon he could bring into the ring, which could come. This could help him in the match, depending what may happen as well. If he decides to use the weapon, maybe behind the referee's back, maybe even towards Amy Avon. Maybe she gets hit with the weapon. Who knows if she tries to interfere? Because, it's all going to happen. But my pick is that Tyler will be, and by the end of the night, he will still have the championship. The reigning, defending heavyweight champion in the world. And I'm going to throw this out here. I probably won't get an answer back, but I'm going to throw this out here right now, Scott. This is going to be it. Whoever wins that match tomorrow night, live on YouTube at 7:30 p.m. Central Time when the show begins, live on YouTube. But if you can go to the arena, be there to witness history and moments to be crowned there. I'm going to throw this out right now. Whoever is the winner of that match between Tyler and Ace, I'm throwing an open invitation to come on this show next week or maybe in a few weeks' time, depending on your availability. But I do want you on the show. So wherever you are, Ace or Tyler, the floor is yours. Come on to the Best Kept Secret on YouTube. Come on to the best show in the UK to hear your thoughts for the exclusive interview after your fight. Come on to my show next week.
Very good. I'll listen anyway, but I would definitely listen to that. Wow, the stories that either man could tell as of right now, as of Thursday before the Friday Super Show, that'd be a great show. But especially after what happens tomorrow night, they're going to have twice as many stories, because the one thing you can just about guarantee for tomorrow night, I'm picking Ace, you're picking Tyler, that there's going to be carnage. I dare say we're not going to see the winner of this one standing in the corner of the ring doing a beauty shot with the belt, standing on the middle rope facing the crowd. They're both going to be beat down in the ring. Nobody's going to be jumping up and down excited. Maybe Amy's in there as well, beaten to a pulp after it's all. Maybe the kids, who knows, after what all's happened. This is going to be just a brutal match, and I just wouldn't miss it. I could not miss. If I weren't going to be lucky enough to be sitting out there with Noah calling the match there live in Piedmont, I would absolutely be watching on YouTube, if for nothing else, to see what happens in this match. And then you look at everything else, the triangle tag, the YouTube championship match with Damian, the All Out championship with Eric. It's just going to be an incredible show, and it's going to end with they're going to blow the roof off the building there in Piedmont with Tyler Culprit and Ace Haven.
I'm hoping,
regardless of who wins.
Yeah, I agree. And before I move on to my hoping section, I'm going to say that I agree. It's not going to be, a clean one-on-one. It's not going to be, a regular match. I don't think so. I think it's going to be a brawl. It's going to be a real fight. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of action. And if you blink, you may miss something. So if I advise you, is drink lots of coffee. Drink maybe have some beer, maybe, I don't know. But do something to keep your eyes from not blinking, because you do not want to miss any of the action tomorrow night. Not just in that match, but any of the action throughout the night.
We're not going to see a lot of snap mares and fireman carries and standing switches and Irish whips and hip tosses and that sort of stuff. It's just going to be an all-out brawl with these two. That there's some real personal hatred between these two athletes, and it's going to come to a head tomorrow night. And
I should have mentioned as well, back earlier on, I'm going to compare them now. So I think, to me, comparing Tyler and Ace is like their version, the ProSouth version of The Rock and Stone Cold. That's my version of Ace Haven and Tyler Corbett. Because, to me, Stone Cold and The Rock had a brutal rivalry. These guys have faced each other many times before. They know each other inside and out. So it's going to be very hard to try and get the upper hand and to try and keep the other guy from getting back up to fight. So that's why I compare them to the version of The Rock and Steve Austin. That's my comparison. I wonder what your comparison is to them as well.
Well, first, to address your comparison, you were not even born when Rocky and Stone Cold were really going at it. That's what's painful to realize. But you are correct. That's a good comparison. But I don't disagree. That's an outstanding comparison with these two, and it's a compliment to both Tyler and Ace to compare them to Rocky and Stone Cold. Another one that jumps out at me would be Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair.
Of course, yeah.
You know, just two men cut from completely different cloths, but who just really don't like each other. And sometimes it extends beyond the building, if you know what I'm saying, that they didn't like each other. And but they could always, number one, put on a good show for the fans, and number two, never come to a satisfactory conclusion that one was better than the other.
Yeah.
And that might end up being how Ace and Tyler have to bring this to a close, that they won't shake hands and hug it out in the center of the ring, that they just realize that maybe they're equal and they move on to other things and come back to this in a couple of years, because it's just always been, it's not painful to watch. It's painful to do, I'm sure. I don't mean to insinuate that it's not, but it's sometimes just too painful to watch because they just beat each other up.
Yeah.
And I don't think tomorrow night's going to be any different.
And if I can add to that as well, they take it to the next level every time they get into the ring with each other as well, don't they? So, you know, the plastic bag the other week as well, that was surprising. I did not expect to see that. But again, they take it to the next step every single time. And I think last Friday as well, they were Tyler and I think some of his goonies or some of his friends were beating down on somebody, and Ace even came running out to try and, you know, stop in, and they brawled all around ringside. I think Tyler got the upper hand as well. Again, so it's going to be an interesting fight tonight. Tomorrow night, to say. So I'm already pumped. I think it's tonight now already, but it's not. It's tomorrow night, live on YouTube at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, when the show also begins. The stream comes on the air around 7:05 p.m. Central Time, 8:05 p.m. Eastern, 1:05 in the morning in the UK on Grimace Meantime. Very early morning start on Saturday morning, people. So if you want to watch it, tune in. It's going to be wonderful. But again, if you can't watch it live or you can't be there in person, don't worry about it. It will be on demand to be available at any time. But don't be one of the people to be the last to watch it. Tune in live. Chat with other members, your fans in the ProSouth community on the live YouTube chat, to be there in person. Before we let you go, Scott, because I know you're a busy guy when you're not commentating on Western companies and whatnot, can we ever see you coming to the UK again in the future? Maybe one day.
Well, I would love to, Edward. But you know, when WCW went under, I was very, very lucky in that WCW was in my hometown of Atlanta, Georgia. So, you know, we would go do pay-per-views and nitros and on Sunday and Monday nights as it would be. But then everything else was like literally across the street from my office at CNN Center.
Oh, yes.
So when WCW went under, I did manage to work for TNA for a couple of years. They were up in Nashville, Tennessee, which was about a 3-hour slog, and I could get up there on those Wednesday nights for the pay-per-views, the weekly pay-per-views. But when they moved to Orlando, that's like an 8-hour commute. That's not going to happen. So, and unfortunately, the WCW years and working for TNA kind of was my avenue to do, you know, international stuff, to get to the UK, Australia. But you know, those days are over. Without taking this another hour, I don't really want to have anything to do with the WWE. So I think my days in the business at that level are over, and that's fine. I enjoy watching AEW a great deal. They are an incredible group. Impact, TNA evolved into, also does an outstanding job. It's sad to see what's happened to Ring of Honor. They were also incredible. The NWA group in Atlanta is a fun watch on YouTube. Major League MLW does a great job as well. So there's a lot of terrific wrestling down in Georgia, where I am. Southern Honor, Georgia Championship. Those guys do a terrific job, and that's fun. So there's a lot of great announcers, a lot of great talent, and I'll just spend. Hopefully, I've got 30 years left on Earth, and I'll spend that as a fan, and let somebody else work 90 hours a week, traveling all over the world.
Well, what I mean by that question was, just coming over here maybe for a holiday, or maybe for, like what you do at ProSouth as a guest appearance as well, maybe.
Yeah, that could definitely happen. I'm hanging up the boots from my shoot job, as they say, next September after 36 years, 37 years. I'll be retired and free and clear and unencumbered, and everybody's telling me, like, what are you going to do? You can go travel. Like, I don't want to travel. I've been all over the place, but places that I would like to go back to, like the UK, first and foremost, actually, and Japan, that I've never been to see what wrestling is there, and in the UK as well. So as a tourist, as a fan, I could definitely see that.
There we go.
I'll come stay in your basement.
Well, over here we don't have basements. We have lofts.
Oh, my bad.
We have lofts.
No, I'll stay in the loft.
Before we let you go, of course, you mentioned about hanging up the boots. I do not hope this is your last time on Commentator for ProSouth. I hope that's not the case. I hope you will be back again soon.
I do too.
For ProSouth. So I'm hoping that doesn't mean you're hanging up the boots after tomorrow night forever.
Oh, no. I'll, again, working every week and traveling, border to border and coast to coast to do television. Those days are behind me. But working for ProSouth and, again, some of the groups around Georgia, as they need me, as they ask. I always consider it an honor to do anything in the business and with those athletes. So yeah, that I don't see hanging up anytime really soon.
Thank you.
No.
You got me again there. That's twice in the show you got me again. You're going to give me a heart attack. So I'm glad. I want to confirm that everybody here on YouTube.com, live on YouTube, that this is not going to be Scott Hudson's last ever broadcast tomorrow night. Hallelujah.
No, not hanging up those boots. Hanging up the boots for my real job I've been doing forever. No. I'll keep doing this.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. Well, it's been a pleasure, and I truly mean that, having you on the show. And I want to say thank you to ProSouth Management for making this possible this evening, by the way, as well. And by the way, Scott, I do hope you'll come back on the show again, and I do apologize. I will say it on the air because it's my show, I can do what I like, for the 40 minutes we spent trying to get this to happen. It almost didn't happen on about 2 occasions, but we got it to work, and I'm so happy.
We got and thank God for Zoom.
Yes.
Zoom worked perfectly, so we'll put them up.
And I thank you for hooking me up with Zoom, because I can now say I can do Zoom or Skype. Either one works for me.
There you go.
So I do another software to I can tick in the check box as well. And I do hope as well that you have a absolute wonderful time tomorrow night. I do not hope you do lose your voice tomorrow night. Have you got any voice exercises you will be doing beforehand to warm up your voice?
Honestly, not really. The only thing that I ever did was suck lemons. If I started to feel my voice going, I would have like a bag of lemons at the announce position. But for ProSouth and with Noah there, and I'm just going to be filling in the gaps for him. He's so good, and I'll be fine.
But like color commentating, then you'll be adding the analysts into the of what you're seeing, I'm guessing there. Well, we can't wait for that anyway. It's been a pleasure here on YouTube. If you enjoyed the show, then do make sure to like the video on youtube.com. Share the video around to all your, fans of ProSouth. Tell them all about Scott Hudson, that he was on this very show. Because I know he doesn't appear on many shows on YouTube doing interviews, so we appreciate Scott taking the time out of his busy schedule to be here this afternoon or this evening, depending where you're watching us from. If you enjoyed this and want to see more of my content, then make sure to smash that subscribe button, because you never know who or when someone might come on the show. And that open invitation, by the way, to Ace Haven and to Tyler of everyone's at Gruel match tomorrow night is open. So accept it. Either one of you. I'll bring for your call on Saturday morning. So give me a call Saturday morning. I'll be here waiting for your response. To have you on the show next week to talk about that great match. As well, make sure you share the video around, comment in the comments in the below if you agree with mine and Scott's predictions, or maybe you think differently from what myself and Scott said throughout the show as well. And let me know if you got any future questions to Scott, because I'm sure, and I will go back to Scott now that I'm hoping that you will come back on my show again.
I can't wait. Now that we got the technology worked out, I can't wait. Say when.
Cool. There we go. You're here first. We can't wait to bring you back on, Scott. And that's it from us here. This might be the last video of 2021. What a year it's been. We started this year in restrictions, and it looks like we're going to end the year with restrictions here in the UK. But I will be back either next week with another guest, with either Tyler or Ace, whoever's man enough to come on the show. But if not, then I will see you on New Year's Eve for my look back of 2021. But for right now, though, enjoy the rest of your Thursday afternoon or evening.
Thank you, Edward. That was